The president of Catalonia is in California trying to attract U.S. investment to his region of Spain. Salvador Illa was welcomed in Sacramento Thursday by California's lieutenant governor. His three-day visit commemorates a 40-year sister state partnership. President Illa is meeting with several business leaders and companies during his trip. His broader goal is to position Catalonia as one of Europe's most innovative regions. Catalan President Salvador Illa joins us live now. Thank you so much for being with us. I think that the 40-year sister state partnership between California and Catalonia is very interesting, especially when you consider some of the shared values, not just climate change and sustainability, but really both of these two sort of regions' roles in attracting tech talent. I mean, Catalonia is obviously a huge tech hub. I believe it has over 2,000, possibly nearly 3,000 startups operating in and around the region. Just walk us through what this sort of sister state partnership looks like with California.
We have been strengthening, this is the main aim of my trip, strengthening the partnership with California government just to boost our relationship in business development. And we have reached some agreements between Barcelona Supercomputing Center, which is a high computing center, one of the best high computing centers of the world, with some companies like Supermicro, NVIDIA, and with the Berkeley Artificial Intelligence Research Laboratory. Also, we have reached agreements in climate change cooperation between California and Catalonia.
And just in terms of some of the headwinds that are facing Catalonia, obviously, as I mentioned, it is a really important tech hub, and as I understand it, it ranks 8th globally in terms of attracting tech talent, not just in Europe, but beyond. Some of the headwinds that comes with is obviously the same issues that we're seeing, I imagine, in San Francisco, which is affordability, higher cost of living. When you attract so many people from around the world, especially digital nomads, that is going to drive property prices higher. You see it with so many other cities, again, London, San Francisco. Barcelona, as I understand it, is having the same issue. How are you handling that?
Well, I would say the most single important issue on affordability is the housing, and we are developing very aggressive housing policies just to boost the offer, the supply of houses, and also we are taking some decisions to regulate the market of housing. We want to develop to generate prosperity, but we also want this prosperity to be shared, and housing is a key issue for us. So, for example, Barcelona City Council has decided to put a cap on the tourist apartments just to help people who come to Barcelona and to Catalonia for the tech industries to have access to houses.
And beyond houses, I mean, there's of course going to be strain on things like, office space, for example, electricity grids, airport capacity. Just explain to us how you're handling that as well.
Well, we have a program of investments just to keep in path the infrastructure in, for example, electricity grid or in airport improvement with the development of our economy. Our economy is growing. The last figure we have is a GDP increase of 2.9% this first quarter of 2026 compared with the first quarter of 2025. So we are investing a lot in infrastructure, specifically in electricity grid, to keep in path with the need of our economy to develop.
How does Catalonia, Barcelona specifically, but Catalonia more broadly, compete with other sort of tech cities in and around Europe? I mean, namely Dublin. Dublin is obviously another place that has that draws a lot of startup capital. How does Barcelona distinguish itself and compete for talent as well?
I would say that one of the distinguishing elements for us to compete is our academy, our university system, which is a public system with lots of talent. And also I would put as an asset the attractiveness of Barcelona itself as a city, as a medium-sized city, well connected, with good climate and with good lifestyle. So these two issues, talent and Barcelona itself as a medium-sized city, are two key elements for us to be. Besides of this, Barcelona Supercomputing Center is also a big asset for us.
I mean, politically, for a long time, I mean, at least when I was growing up in Europe, a lot of people associated Catalonia and Barcelona with, of course, the separatist movement. Your election sort of seemed to sort of end a decade of separatist rule in Catalonia. Just talk to us about where the campaign for Catalan independence stands at this point in time.
We are reinforcing our self-government in the constitutional framework of Spain, and we respect all the views of Catalan people, but the most of Catalan people, I would say now, is for self-government and for generating prosperity. And also a key point for us is to strengthen the European project, 450 public space with shared values, which is key to have a voice in this fast-changing world of today's.
All right. President Salvador Illa, thank you so much for being with us, and good luck with the rest of your trip. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.